What the hell is going on at Warner Brothers? I'm genuinely shocked. I'm surprised right now. I got home from work, and while I was at work, I got the notification telling me that the Leslie Grace Batgirl movie has been canceled. And to give you guys context, this movie already finished filming and spent over 90 million. And it went through the entire COVID protocols. It went through everything imaginable. And Warner Bros. Discovery laid down the pipe. They said, nah, screw it. Batgirl can go hide somewhere. We'll just leave it on the shelf collecting dust, and we'll move on with the DC universe. Because I'm genuinely shocked. When David Zaslav came in, of course, Warner Bros. Discovery, the entire merger, I knew there was going to be shocking surprises. But never did I think a movie that was completely finished was going to just just bye bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. It was weird. Excuse me. It's crazy. The Batgirl movie has been canceled. A movie that was supposed to bring the return of Michael Keaton's Batman, have J.K. Simmons Commissioner Gordon. You already got two big actors right there, J.K. Simmons and Michael Keaton, playing iconic characters. This is going to be the debut of Batgirl. I have a lot of things to say, but first we got to read the article. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Now, the first thing that came out, what was it? I think it's the New York Post. I was going to pull up that article, read, but I'm sorry. Whoever wrote that article is clearly biased, because at some point they said that the Batman was made okay money because it only made 77 million. Look, by the way, to my comic book fans out there, you have to realize making 77 million worldwide is nothing to glance at. That is, or I messed it up. But it's a major money. That's big money. Any movie would dream. Making a billion doesn't mean your movie's successful. What making a billion means is you went over the limit. You went over what all the expectations. Making around 700, 600, depending on your budget, that's amazing. And the Batman didn't even have that high of a budget. So, and also they said that the Batman was already, so clearly that person didn't do their research. So, but what came out to be true within like 10 minutes after was that was true, that the Batgirl movie is going to be scrapped. And I think this has a lot to say about David Zaslav finally putting down the axe and saying, hey, look, you go my way or the highway. Come on, man. Choose your choice. But all we know is that train that David Zaslav has, that's going to continue steamrolling. He's going to make changes, and right now we just saw probably the biggest change, at least for DC films. And we know that David Zaslav's cutting a lot of costs. I mean, he canceled that Wonder Twins movie that was going to star that kid from Riverdale. I'm so glad he canceled that, because that just sounded stupid. And I believe they were going to spend $70 million on that. That is pure stupidity right there. Wonder Twins, I mean, I would have liked to see the movie, but $70 million, that's not a good price tag right there. But let's read. In a surprising development, Warner Bros. Will no longer be releasing Batgirl, the DC film that already completed shooting and was expected to arrive on HBO Max this year. The unusual move comes after a change in leadership at Warner's, with newly installed Warner Bros. CEO David Zaslav prioritizing cost-cutting measures and refocusing Warner's on creating theatrical films rather than the projects for streaming, as had been a priority for former Warner Media CEO Jason Kilar. Batgirl was budgeted at around $80 million, with costs rising to nearly $90 million due to COVID-19 protocols. It's a hefty sum, but significantly lower than DC theatrical releases. Thus, the film is said to not have the spectacle that audiences came to expect from DC fare. The Batman, released in March, had a budget of $185 million before marketing costs. Warner's has also decided to shelve animated feature Scoob Holiday Hunt, which had a budget of $40 million range. By the way, I don't think anyone cares, because that first Scooby-Doo movie, or not Scooby-Doo, Scoob, the one that came out, I think around 2020, around when the pandemic happened, no one really cared. Even a lot of Scooby-Doo fans didn't even like that movie. So I guess that one makes sense, because they didn't even start making that movie. But anyways, Batgirl starred in the Heights, Batgirl starred in the Heights breakout Leslie Grace as Barbara Gordon / Batgirl, and hailed from Bad Boys for Life filmmaker Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah. It's sorry if I mispronounced that. Its cast also included Michael Keaton back as Batman, J.K. Simmons as Barbara's father, Commissioner Gordon, and Brendan Fraser as the villain Firefly. Dude, that was the thing that excited me most about all of this. I wanted to see Brendan Fraser as a villain. I love Brendan Fraser. Everyone loves Brendan Fraser. I wanted to see him as Firefly, especially because Firefly is such a unique character to the Batman lore. But anyways, the New York Post first reported Batgirl would be scrapped. Insiders say that the big budget films made directly for streaming no longer make financial sense under the company's new strategy. In June, Zaslav tapped MGM's Michael De Luca and Pamela Abdi to run Warner's, replacing Toby Emmerich. Warner Bros. Discovery leadership had been looking to find $3 billion in cost savings after the merger of Warner Media and Discovery closed in April. Major cuts along the way for the conglomerates have included streaming service CNN Plus, which cost $300 million before the plug was pulled a month after launch, and J.J. Abrams' price to HBO Max, the Memonde, which aimed to have a $200 million, oh my god, plus budget. Meanwhile, HBO Max has pared down its programming focus area for originals, cutting the Gordita Chronicles. I don't even know what the fuck I'm reading right now. As part of a strategy shift away from live-action kids and family programming, linear networks under the Warner Bros. Discovery umbrella like TNT and TBS have also had originals cut in recent months. Under Killar, Warner shattered the theatrical window, sending its 2021 slate day-to-date to HBO Max and a one-year experiment. Now Zaslav appears to be engineering a total about face in emphasizing the importance of theatrical over streaming. And that's a big one right there. A lot of y'all were trying to tell me, oh, but it's smart to put the movie on theaters and HBO Max because that way you get the best of both worlds. Well, guess what? Do you see any other movie studios doing that anymore? In fact, the only time they ever put movies on streaming is when they're low movies or if they're giant Netflix movies, because Netflix is the only one that's really putting these big movies in their streaming services. So right now, I've proved to people, I've been saying this from the beginning, that putting all those Warner Bros. Movies in 2021 to HBO Max was single-handedly one of the stupidest decisions in Hollywood history, and you can already tell by box office numbers. Just look at the Suicide Squad. There's a reason why no movies do that anymore. All the money is made theatrically. Yes, you can make money streaming, but it's not big money like theatrically. And not only that, but when you put a streaming option up, then most people are probably not going to go to the theaters because some people just want to stay home. And that's understandable. But financially wise, that was the stupidest decision that Warner Bros. Has ever made. But anyways, and I'm glad David Zaslav's changing that. I love David Zaslav. Batgirl has traveled a winding road up to this trip. Joss Whedon initially signed on to write and direct in 2017, then dropped out a year later. Oh, we know exactly why he's not there. That's simplified. Batgirl's directors who work under the name Adil and Bilal boarded in 2021 as they were hot off revitalizing the Bad Boys franchise. In January of this year, Grace shared the first look photo of herself in costume along with the quote from the comic book Batgirl Year 1, "I use their expectations against them. That will be their weakness, not mine. Let them all underestimate me, and when their guard is down and the pride is rising, let me kick their butts." And that's the big thing. Batgirl is officially canceled. Now let's go down to the main camera, shall we? I'm going to give you guys my perspective, and you guys are more than welcome to argue with me, debate me in the comment sections. While my initial thoughts on this were, this is stupid. Why would you throw away a movie that already cost you $90 million? Why would you do that? That is and my personal thought was, that is stupid. You might as well release it on HBO Max, no marketing, no nothing. And I still kind of believe that, just release it on HBO Max, don't market at all, whatever. But my mind has kind of shifted away from this, because we have to remember that Batgirl was made under the old regime at Warner Bros., not the current one. David Zaslav had nothing to do with greenlighting the project of Batgirl. This movie was already filmed, or was being almost completed, by the time David Zaslav and Discovery completed the merger. Okay, we have to understand that. So this is not really their money they're losing. However, it's still, I still think that you should probably release on HBO Max, because $90 million was spent. A lot of people put their blood, hard work, tears, whatever, sweat, whatever. They've all worked hard. Leslie Grace worked hard. The directors for Bad Boys worked hard. They all worked hard, and now their movie's kind of just scrapped. However, I'm going to say something. I think this is the biggest hint we've had to the possible restoration of the Snyderverse. I know my channel is kind of divided. Half of y'all love the Snyderverse, half of y'all don't like the Snyderverse. That's cool. I love differences of opinion, but you guys know very well that I love the Snyderverse, and I believe there's still hope. I never said it was a 100% guarantee, because there's some other people that would just lie to you, but I've always said, hey, I'm going to be optimistic, I'm going to be supportive, but I've also never seen the hints from David Zaslav. But now I am seeing them clearly right now. And just hear me out, All right. Before David Zaslav came in, the big talk for DC was they're going to be doing a reboot. Maybe not a hard reboot, but a soft reboot, where they were going to be erasing Henry Cavill's Superman, erasing Ben Affleck's Batman, and then just keeping, a couple, Aquaman, Momoa, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. We were going to have a couple changes, maybe they were just going to scrap the Darkseid stuff, and then just move forward with their DC universe after that. And we've seen that the DC movies, as of now, have been kind of shying away from the other DC movies, kind of feeling like they want to be their own separate things and all that. Well, David Zaslav stepped in. And what have we had so far? The Aquaman thing. Now, this again is rumor. This isn't true, or at least that we know of. Beforehand, the Aquaman movie was supposed to have a post-credit where Michael Keaton's Batman shows up. That was the big rumor. A lot of you guys remember that. But now, we have basically confirmation that Ben Affleck is going to be returning as Bruce Wayne in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Whether it's a post-credit, whether it's a quick scene, it's probably going to be a short 5-second scene, whatever. Either way, that is still the Zack Snyder's canon version of Batman. So you got that. Not only that, but we've had reshoots of The Flash. Now that one I'm going to put very low on the low end, because The Flash has been in basically a limbo since 2014. So that one I'm going to just put aside. That one's not going to be a major point. But you see Ben Affleck comes back as Batman, right? And now this Batgirl movie that was going to be after the Flash movie, and it was going to be in the world where the Flash rebooted the DCEU. In this world, Michael Keaton was Batman. But you know what they just did? They didn't reshoot. They didn't change up anything. They grabbed the movie and just tossed it aside. All the hints we're getting right now. And not only that, but we have to remember when that big article came out, I forgot who put it out. I think it was Variety, Deadline, I don't know, one of the major trades. But they came out, and David Zaslav had said that he's wondering, why hasn't DC prioritized Superman? And then he specifically said that he believes DC should start prioritizing their main heroes, which is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, their main heroes. Not only that, but the Wonder Twins movie, like I said earlier, got canceled. We know right now, David Zaslav has one thing that is 100% confirmed is David Zaslav has two things on his mind. Number one, he's going to be cutting costs, and he's already done that to DC. He's cut Batgirl and he's cut Wonder Twins, but he's not just cutting costs. He's cutting cost of unnecessarily high-budgeted movies. Why are you spending $70 million on a Wonder Twins movie? And the second thing we know that's coming out is that we know damn well David Zaslav wants the DC universe to focus on its big main characters, which prior to Zaslav, that didn't seem to be the focus. Sure, there was a big emphasis on Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Shazam, but they're still not Batman and Superman, the main faces of the DCEU. And not only that, but we had Batman separate. Now, I still think that Pattinson Batman movies are still going to continue. It seems like that way. And I want that to happen because I love the Batman movie. You see my Batman poster right there? It's right next to my Infinity War poster is in the middle. But we also got Batman vs. Superman poster there. My Zack Snyder's Justice League poster there. You guys know I love both worlds, and I still think they're going to continue. But just look at all the hints coming out. You had David Zaslav saying, hey, we need to cut costs on things that are unnecessary. Wonder Twins, $70 million, Batgirl, $90 million, although Batgirl kind of deserved the $90 million. That's a pretty good price range for that movie. And then, of course, he says we're going to emphasize on the main DC characters. And not only that, but it's very clear that they want to compete with Marvel, because Marvel is making a lot of cheddar. Let's not forget that in 2019 alone, Marvel had 3 movies come out. Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, and Spider-Man No Way Home. They all made over $1 billion in the box office. Something almost any other company would just They would kill a soul just to be able to get near that goal. And people want to compete with Marvel. We've already seen in Hollywood that people want to be the next Marvel. People want to compete with Marvel. People want to do cinematic universe. And from what David Zaslav has said, it seems like he wants to do that. Prioritize the main characters and cut costs on things that aren't necessary. And not only that, but it kind of sounds like he's trying to repair the DC brand. Because right now, to all my movie fans, whether you're a DC fan, Marvel fan, whatever, whoever you are, tell me what's the number one complaint you hear about DC. All right, they're feeling way too weird. It feels like they're in a weird wombly place. It feels like they're not trying to connect to a cinematic universe. It just feels like, oh, you got the Batman over here, you got Batgirl over there, you got Flash there, you got this, you got that, you got Snyderverse, blah, 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 blah. It just feels like multiple random things right now. And that is the big criticism. But just hearing from what Zaslav, Warnerbros Discovery have said in the past, that they want to highlight the main characters and they want to cut costs on things that are less important. And right now, the main thing is they want to compete with Marvel. All the decisions that led to Blue Beetle, Batgirl, Wonder Twins, those were not Zaslav's decisions. But right now, you've already seen Wonder Twins axed. And now you've seen Batgirl axed. So right now, how is it not possible that the Snyderverse can't be restored? And maybe they won't restore Snyderverse. Maybe there's a chance that what they're going to do instead is they're going to make Justice League movies, but without Zack Snyder. Like, they're just going to kind of be a soft reboot. So, like, maybe the next Justice League movie is going to be called The Justice League, and you're going to have Henry back, you're going to have Ben Affleck back and all that. Not only that, this one's more rumor. This isn't official. But there's a lot of rumors hinting at Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. There's a lot of rumors saying that he's coming back. And let's not also forget that, remember, what was it? I think it's the Jimmy Kimmel, Jalen Fallon show. I don't remember. Ben Affleck had said he's not going to return as Batman. It's over. His days as Batman are over. Now, of course, this happened before Zaslav, but now after Zaslav, guess what happened? He's an Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom. Now, to be fair, before Zaslav and the old Warnerbros regime, he did accept coming back in the Flash movie, and he accepted to come back for that quick nightmare scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So let's be honest about that. However, Zaslav was able to, or at least under his regime, he was able to convince Affleck to come back in the Aquaman movie. Also, yeah, there's a lot of things. Oh, wait. There weren't reshoots of Flash. I don't know. But it seems like they're taking a while to change things. So, I don't know. It's all lining up a certain way. Again, this is just my fanboy self-theorizing. But I just don't think the only reason why... Because I see a lot of people saying, oh, Zav's only cutting this movie because he's too cheap to market it. Well, you don't really need to market it. You could just release it on HBO Max and that's it. Now, if he said, okay, we're going to put it on HBO Max, but we're not going to market it. If he had said that, if that's what the reports had said, I would have thought, okay, that just means that they don't want to spend that much money and they're just going to release it on HBO Max. However, the interesting thing is there's no theatrical and there's no HBO Max for Batgirl. That's the thing that really emphasizes to me that right now Warner Bros. Is trying to change up the DC universe and they don't want to confuse the audience anymore. Because right now they really haven't. The only major thing you could say that's confusing in the DCU, at least with the movies we've gotten, not the movies that are being reported, but the movies we've gotten. So this is everything before the Suicide Squad. Or everything before the Batman, actually. But the only thing that we've seen really is Wonder Woman Can Fly in 1984. Other than that, Aquaman didn't retcon anything. Birds of Prey didn't retcon anything. The Suicide Squad didn't retcon anything. You can still continue the Snyderverse, or you can continue with like a Justice League universe somehow with the things you have right now. And that's the thing that's really exciting me right now. Even if Zack doesn't come back, I just want the focuses to come back to your big heroes. Because I'm sorry, but if you're trying to compete with Marvel and you're trying to create your own universe, the main emphasis got to be Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and then throughout the years you build up other characters. You can have your Batgirl movie eventually. You can have your Wonder Twins movie eventually. I just feel like right now, with no coherent universe, it just kind of doesn't make sense. And right now it seems like Zaslav's trying to put the places so that we can now have a coherent universe. So now that when people talk about the DCU in like, I don't know, a decade from now, they can say, oh, you mean that cinematic universe that first had a little bit of a roughy patch with its weird reboots and ideas and all that, and now has this coherent timeline that we now know of? For all we know, maybe they're changing things from The Flash. That's just the big thing I have. But yeah, I'm going to let you guys tell me in the comments, what do you think? I know a lot of y'all are probably going to be like, Isaac, you're just crazy. But honestly, what other reason would they just scrap Batgirl if they could just simply released on HBO Max with no marketing, you know? So I'm going to be looking forward to this, and I'll see you guys next time. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse.